This promise accelerated hearing. After a averted accident at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja federal government reopens runway while some suspected drug barons we hear are cooling off at NDLEA cells. This is NTA News Panorama. I'm Ruth Aguele. Welcome. We'll begin with the judiciary. Chairman of the Presidential Election Petition Court, Justice Haruna Tsamani, has solicited the cooperation of counsel involved in the presidential election petitions towards speedy adjudication. He made the appeal at the commencement of the pre-trial hearing session of the petitions filed against the election of Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress. Leading the panel of 5 justices, he said the Presidential Election Petition Court received 5 petitions, which include Action Alliance versus INEC, Action People's Party versus Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and INEC, Peter Gregory Obi versus INEC and others, Allied People's Movement versus INEC and others, and Atiku Abubakar and others versus INEC and others. Following this order, the first 3 petitions filed by Action Alliance, Action People's Party, and Peter Obi are listed to be heard Monday, while that of Allied People's Movement and Atiku Abubakar would be heard Tuesday. Austin Ayembe, our correspondent, reports that the counsel who spoke pledged to comply with the rules of the court to ensure that justice is attained. The National Industrial Court has ordered the reinstatement of one Fumilayo Omosule to his position as a manager with the federal government-owned Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority administration. The claimant had challenged his 2011 suspension in court, and presiding Justice Olufunke Anuwe agreed that the suspension was an unlawful act, ordering that all his entitlements from the date of the suspension should be paid to him.
Judgment was a good judgment, and we appreciate it, even if the court did not agree that he be promoted, because the issue of his certificate, which was the reason why we came to court, the court said he had no powers to verify that.
His erstwhile employee had argued that Omosule was suspended for not presenting his original certificates for verification, but the claimant said the documents were lost. We turn to other issues. The enormous goodwill President Muhammadu Buhari enjoys from the international community and its significant impact on Nigeria's foreign policy was brought to the fore as the Nigerian High Commission in London played host to the president. Let's hear the details from State House correspondent Adam Sambo.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who is in London for the coronation of the British monarch King Charles III, used the opportunity to inspect the Abuja house that has been significantly transformed by his administration. Both the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, and the Nigerian High Commissioner, Sharafatunji Ishola, were full of praises for the president for the honor and respect Nigeria enjoys globally. This they attributed to the integrity and leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, both in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond.
Mr. President, the Nigerian foreign policy will be kind to you for a long time, because within the space of your tenure, you have been able to bring 4 strategic appointments to Nigeria. During your tenure, Nigeria became the chairman of political security of the AU. During your tenure too, the president of ADB was elected. Also during your tenure, we have the opportunity of having the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, and the icing of the cake was the Director General of the WTO. Aside from that, each time you come for a meeting here and I have the privilege of being with you, I see how African leaders gravitate towards you. That's an uncommon thing.
What I would just like to add is that you have flown the Nigerian flag so high outside Nigeria, and the respect that you've garnered amongst foreign heads of state has been absolutely amazing. And very often I kind of wish that Nigerians could see some of those more intimate engagements that you have with foreign leaders around the world, for them to appreciate just what a difference you make in terms of Nigeria's foreign relations. And Nigeria is stronger after 8 years in its relations with countries around the world than we were 8 years ago.
Everywhere we go, we always record positive exploits. And this can be seen, especially in the United Kingdom, where we have about 7 Nigerians as members of parliament.
President Muhammadu Buhari is confident that with the giant strides achieved with the nation's foreign policy under his watch, Nigeria will continue to be respected by the international community. He described as gladdening that Nigerian citizens occupying sensitive positions across the world are living up to expectations. From London, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The federal government has concluded the evacuation of stranded Nigerians from Aswan International Airport, Egypt. Musa Baba Ali reports that 1,116 Nigerians have been evacuated from the Egyptian border.
The plights of Nigerians stranded at the Egyptian border with Sudan have been a major challenge to the federal government. This was exacerbated by audios and videos posted on the social media by some of the Nigerians on transit at the Sudan-Egyptian border. The message was meant to draw government attention and make it take necessary action to assist the nationals.
We suffered a lot during the trip. Honestly, there are some days we spent our days outside the apartments.
There's no food, we are just eating biscuits, snacks and water.
The necessary steps was taken through an interministerial committee set up by the federal government. Today, all the stranded Nigerians at the border have been successfully rescued and airlifted back to Nigeria.
So all of them have been fully returned back home. I can declare that there is nobody at the moment in the Egyptian side. Everybody that remains are still on the Port Sudan axis. So this is a very important milestone for us.
Coming from a war zone, they have immediate needs addressed, like their food. They'll be transported to the airport. We have staff going to check them in if they need that service. And another thing that they may need, like a voluntary return would require, because all the services are voluntary, but they're available.
Prosper Okosun is one of the returnees. He said without government intervention, many of them would have not survived the war in Sudan.
We were running out of food. The water supply was, electricity was cut off, so water supply and no gas and everything.
Unfortunately, seriously, that was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life, and I don't wish to ever come across something like that ever again.
The National Emergency Management Agency said small and big aircraft will be deployed to evacuate the remaining Nigerians in Port Sudan, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia and Chad.
So we have Taco Air is going to use a bigger aircraft with a 500 capacity. Air Peace will do back-to-back of 270 times 2, which is 540. So we're very hopeful. I believe in the next 2-3 days, everything will be over.
The federal government has disbursed more than $120 million for the evacuation program, while Air Peace, Max Air, Azman and Taco Airlines are providing free services in evacuating the stranded Nigerians from the war zone. From Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
An Abuja-bound Max Air flight VM1648 from Yola narrowly escaped overshooting the runway at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Sunday afternoon, we hear, due to a burst of tire. The incident occurred when the aircraft landed at the runway of the airport. Officials at the airport confirmed that all the 144 passengers and 6 crew members on board safely disembarked. The Abuja airport runway is temporarily closed for operations until the aircraft is towed out of the runway. Further investigations into the cause of the tire burst is also to be carried out. Let's also inform you that the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport has been reopened for operation after its temporary closure. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika says the affected aircraft has been towed away. The runway has been swept, inspected and certified for operation. The minister regrets the inconveniences and also thanked customers for their patience. Still on transportation business, the National Inland Waterways Authority has ordered the immediate demolition of all unapproved structures within its right-of-way in Onitsha. Managing Director of the agency, Dr. George Mogalu, gave the directive when he inspected activities in the federal government property managed by the agency in Onitsha, Anambra State. Let's hear details from Uchenna Nwekoro.
The Managing Director of the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, Dr. George Mogalu, was in Onitsha to inspect the proposed site for the establishment of Maritime Institute by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. He explained that NIWA is yet to receive proper application identifying the size of land required for the project. The NIWA boss, who inspected other activities within his right-of-way, ordered the immediate demolition of all unapproved structures springing up in the land.
We've gone to the site, we've looked at it, we've identified the area that is required for the project, and then we have given them consent. But what we are saying is the formal application has to be made. The design of what is going to be done there has to be provided. NIWA will now do the survey.
Dr. Mogalu also said the agency has continued to maintain navigation channels across the inland waterways with a view to ensuring the continuous viability of maritime transportation.
Nigeria has over 10,000 kilometers of waterways. As we speak, it's only about 3,008 or thereabout that is all year round navigable. Are you getting me? So what we are doing is to make sure that the 3,000 and some fraction that is all year round navigable is actually all year round navigable.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, had proposed the establishment of Maritime Institute in Onitsha, Anambra State, to build capacity for its staff and major players within the sector. In Onitsha, Uchenna Nwekoro, NTA News.
Let's take a break. We're back in a moment.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Welcome back. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria are advocating unification of multiple Forex windows as part of deliberate policies required to stabilize the nation's currency. Talking about the Naira, well, they urge the incoming administration to also address the imbalance between demand and supply of Forex to mitigate further depreciation of the Naira. Let's hear from Lydia Sampson.
Some of the guests describe the foreign exchange as the oxygen through which nations breathe. They note that foreign exchange is suffocating in Nigeria and drastic measures are required to mitigate negative effects on the Naira.
The foreign reserve has dwindled to 35 billion. The excess crude account, the ECA, is zero. I think the last we checked is somewhere around $35 million, which is neither here nor there. So you will realize that the two edges of the sword at sharpening and deeply inflicting into our system.
The ability of the Central Bank of Nigeria to defend the naira, to ensure stability as is most desired, is very limited. And so we find that the demand pressure that has caused so much depreciation of the naira in the foreign exchange market is still very much there.
They urge the incoming administration to think out of the box on strengthening the naira and not always rely on the advice of global financial institutions with vested interests.
Economic management of this government has been, they have also tried to reposition. Let's be fair to them. It's easy to just come and castigate and just say, oh, they've done everything bad. No, they haven't done everything bad. In fact, some of the things they've done has positioned the next government for success.
And we are putting measures to mitigate those weaknesses. So are we willing and ready to work with the incoming government? We have the key. We have the solution. I want to go with Dr. Patricia that we should not be pessimistic.
For the guests, all hope is not lost in pursuing the recovery of the naira, but they believe pruning down more than 6,000 bureau de change operators to license only the big players will be a step in the right direction. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Addressing the challenges faced by older persons in Nigeria requires collaboration between the National Senior Citizen Center and relevant organizations. Well, this is precisely what NSCC is doing with the ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government as it holds capacity training for desk officers in all the NDAs in Abuja. Austin Ayembe reports.
The increasing number of older persons and their varied challenges in Nigeria is a concern not only to families but to the government. This is precisely what gave rise to the legislation for older persons, the National Senior Citizens Act 2017, which makes provision for the establishment of the Senior Citizen Center, which is now operational. The center, in ensuring that older persons are given their rightful place in society, has come up with a strategic roadmap and national plan of action on aging in Nigeria and project activities 2021 to 2025, which were launched this year. It's against this background that National Senior Citizen Center brought together desk officers from 40 MDAs to educate them on programs outlined in the documents to accord older persons their rightful place in the society and also enhance their socioeconomic inclusiveness.
We have the National Plan of Action on Aging for the first time in Nigeria. And then we now broke down into project activities, which means we have developed our programs. And then these programs are integrated into the National Development Plan of Nigeria. For the first time in the history of this country, where plans concerning older persons are in the National Development Plan and then are budgeted for.
And for the President to really take this initiative into his heart and mind, and with all the time and effort also invested in this by the Honorable Minister, supporting the DG, I think is a great achievement that we can see.
The center, in its strategic engagement, had signed several memoranda of understanding with many organizations and commenced implementation of some of the programs in the strategic roadmap. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
One of the strategies we hear adopted by Kano State government in uplifting the standards of education is the provision of housing accommodation for school teachers. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje stated this while inaugurating 500 housing units in Ungogo local government area of the state. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
The 500 unit Ungogo Teachers Reserved Area is part of the Kano State government special housing program for school teachers. It consists of 383 bedroom units and 122 bedroom houses. This solidarity song is to appreciate Governor Ganduje's decision to grant 90% waiver for teachers who subscribe to the scheme.
I would like to use this opportunity, the National President, to please beg you to thank the Governor and Government of Kano State
thank you, to pray for you in life, and to say if the workers are happy, I will be happy.
The parting gift announced by the governor during May Day celebration is now realized with the formal inauguration and presentation of the houses to beneficiaries. Governor Abdullah Umar Ganduje also announced that more than 2,000 additional units are being built across the 44 local government areas of the state.
Each local government 100, that's 4,400, and some metropolitan local government will increase it, giving a total of 4,500 units.
The governor assured that the remaining housing units under construction would be completed and delivered soon. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
The Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, is suing for unity among states, ethnic groups and cultures to engender growth and development in the country. This was at a dinner organized by the Cross River State Government in honor of the Emir as the 6th Chancellor of the University of Calabar. Paul Abel reports.
With all dignitaries seated to enjoy the hospitality of Cross River State people, the Secretary to the State Government throws more light on the warm embrace of Cross Riverians while highlighting some industrial achievements of the present administration.
A new paradigm shift in Cross River, where we not only play, laugh, enjoy.
The rich cultural heritage of Nigeria depicting love, peace and unity from Cross River to Kano and across the country was exhibited with cultural performances. The Emir of Kano, who came to Calabar in full complement of the Emirate Council, commends the hospitality of the people, while the governor, throwing light on the importance of a quality university system, spoke on the need of right conscience and expectations from the Emir.
We have a lot in common. Our people are friendly. Our people are accommodated. We are respectful. We love each other.
For the all of us are gathered here, will be time for reckoning. And for the 8 years I have served as governor, will be time that we ask you to account for the time I have served you. I have served fairly or not, in the privacy of my conscience.
There was a presentation of the symbol of authority of the traditional stool in Cross River, referred to as Ekpe, to the Emir. The dinner was attended by former Chief of Defense Staff, General Martin Luther Agwe, retired, Chairman, Cross River State Traditional Rulers Council, APC State Chairman, Chief Judge of Cross River State, among others. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has seized 8.8 tons of Canadian loud, a synthetic strain of cannabis, after a gun battle with armed men escorting the consignment. The Anti-narcotics agency also intercepted drugs in Lagos, Ogun, Adamawa, Edo, Kogi and Anambra states in the past week. One suspect was arrested with counterfeit money and tramadol tablets, while another was caught producing scooches. In total, the NDLEA recovered large quantities of cannabis, tramadol, and intercepted a shipment of methamphetamine. Sports update is next.
Action in the quarterfinals of the ongoing Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations will resume on Wednesday, 10th of May, after observing 3 days of rest. Senegal are set to face South Africa, while Morocco will be up against host Algeria. On May 11, Mali will trade tackles with Congo as Nigeria gets ready to face Burkina Faso. 4 teams will represent Africa in the FIFA Under-17 World Cup later this year. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Rugby Football Federation will camp the senior men national team for the 2024 Olympic Games qualifiers in the United Kingdom. The Black Stallions, as fondly called, are to participate in Rugby Africa Olympic qualifiers slated for Mauritius in June 2023. Nigeria is placed in Pool A with Ghana, Burundi and DR Congo. Other countries participating in the qualifiers are hosts Mauritius, Cote d'Ivoire, Botswana, Cameroon, Algeria, Lesotho, Senegal, and Egypt. Paris, the capital of France, will host the 33rd editions of the Olympic Games from July 26 to August 11, 2024. And finally, world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz retained his Madrid Open title with a 3-set victory over Germany's Jan Lennart. The 20-year-old Spaniard won 6-4, 3-6, 6-3, his 4th trophy on the ATP Tour this season and 10th overall. He will replace Novak Djokovic at the top of the world rankings by simply playing in Rome next week. Alcaraz's victory in Madrid means he won back-to-back tournaments, having won Barcelona Open in April, and demonstrates why he is among the favorites for the French Open, which begins on 28 May. With sport updates, Clement Oloruntoba, NTA News.
That's Panorama. We do appreciate your time with us. I'm Ruth Aguilera. Bye.